I think on Palestine issue, we have seen some substantial developments in recent days uh, after the continuous uh, atrocities, barbarian policies of Israeli regime in Israeli state in Middle East for especially for last 2 years or more than 2 years. We have seen some important members of the international community who have come forward and recognized Palestine yesterday or in last few days, and now the total number of recognitions have increased to more than 150 members have already recognized, and therefore there we can say that theoretically there has been some progress towards acceptance of a two-state solution by an overwhelming majority of the members of the United Nations. But now the problem is that Israel is not ready to accept any kind of recognition to Palestinian state, and Israel has already undertook a ground invasion of Gaza. Israel is also, continuously attacking wherever and whenever it finds considers feasible other in countries of the Middle East, other countries in the Arab world. So how Israel, and as you have already said that while there is an important strategic briefing on the Palestinian recognition, on the question of Palestine, on the question of future of Palestine, Israel is skipping, and Israel still continues to have adequate or substantial amount of support from the United States. So it will be in the next few, weeks and months. It will be a very difficult kind of negotiation involving United States and Israel on the one hand, and the other part, the part of the international community, which includes Islamic world, which includes Pakistan, which includes other important countries of the world who are not part of the Islamic world, but who have now recognized, or vast majority of them have recognized Palestine's state in pursuance of a two-state solution. So it is good that due to the favorable developments that, from Pakistan's perspective, that took place during this year, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia strategic defense agreement was signed, and this is the first time, I think, in several years that in a strategic kind of group trying to find a solution for an international issue, like in this case Palestine issue, Pakistan along with other Arab countries is also part of it. So in today's meeting, which President Trump is going to have, in that group, Pakistan has been included, which is in itself recognition of Pakistan's important role at this juncture in time. So I think it is an important meeting. Important discussions will take place. I understand that some kind of solution is being on future of Gaza will be presented. I think if I know, I think it is, if I know correctly, it is former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair has prepared some kind of way forward which will be presented. And then let's see how things go forward. But, the solutions that we have been hearing about, still no formal solution is, no formal future roadmap is there. The solutions or the roadmaps which we are hearing about in last few weeks, they don't look like very just solutions. So if a unilateral kind of solution is imposed, it will, in my view, not be good for the region, nor for international peace. Remember that a solution was imposed after the end of the World War, and Israel was created without building enough support of the international community. But that was a particular situation. World War had ended, and therefore it took place. Now, after 80 years, we are at another crucial juncture, and if another such step is taken where the major powers negate the principles of two-state solution adopted and emphasized for a long time, for last 80 years by the international community, it will not augur well. And it will then lead the world, the regions into, I think, a kind of turmoil. So it is important that these major powers and the countries of the region act responsibly and come up with a solution which is acceptable for the people of Palestine, which is acceptable for the other countries bordering Palestine and who have stakes in this process, and should be looking towards mutual coexistence in future and rights of the Palestinian people and as the principles defined in the two-state solution. Yeah, as partly answering this question, partly in the previous question, I've already mentioned that this is an important development that when the major powers of the world, United States and other powers of the world, are sitting together in a discussion with the major countries from the Arab world for discussing Palestine's future under a two-state solution. So Pakistan is now part of this group. It is important, but at the same time, it brings lot of responsibility, and it can also bring a lot of challenges, because it will depend upon what kind of solution will be prescribed for the Palestinian state, what kind of solution will be prescribed for Gaza and West Bank, what will be the future of the settlements Israel has continued to form, what will be the future status of East Jerusalem. So there are so many questions associated with this future roadmap of Palestine under two-state solution. So I think in my own view, first of all, Pakistan should engage very constructively in the process, in the negotiations, should try to assist the international community, the international institutions in terms of reaching a solution to this issue in a peaceful manner, but in accordance with the principles of justice and principles of and the rights of the Palestinian people. And then, any kind of military involvement, deploying troops in Middle East or anywhere, this is such an explosive question, because it is the implications are so huge. We have seen when countries, even major powers, have deployed their troops, like US deployed its troops in Vietnam, or US deployed its troops in Afghanistan, or US deployed its troops in Iraq. It did not augur well for the United States, which has been world's sole superpower for so many decades. So I think deployment of troops has implications. Peacekeepers, yes, Pakistan has been playing a role in peacekeeping for years. And if there is a settlement which is acceptable to Palestinians, acceptable to the Arab world, and generally acceptable to the international community, and it takes place in a framework of some kind of UN endorsement, United Nations Security Council endorsement, it will be a different case than deploying peacekeepers will be under certain framework. But otherwise, I mean, entanglement of our troops or our deployments outside Pakistan in any kind of solution which have any question marks around it, I think it can also have negative implications. So first of all, I think we have to see what is going to happen today, what is going to happen in the next few days, what kind of solutions are proposed, what kind of roadmaps come forward in the coming weeks, and then how Pakistan's how and to what extent Pakistan's involvement will be there in India. Hamas taking hostages of from Israel and from the United States on 7th October 2023, that has been actually one of the fundamental issues in what happened between Israel and the Arab world in the last more than 2 years. So how this issue will be settled, I think it is important, as Pakistan will be engaged there and other Muslim countries will be there. Other important members of international community are also involved. It will be important to go for a comprehensive solution. if a comprehensive settlement of creation or establishment of two states and recognition of the two states, Israel and Palestine, with East Jerusalem as Palestine's capital, then it will be a different thing. But if we are dealing with part solutions, like we are creating a Gaza roadmap and some kind of enclave, already we are seeing hundreds of thousands of people are leaving Gaza. So if you ask the Palestinians about that world is recognizing a Palestinian state and a Palestinian state is being created, and the world community is sitting in New York is deciding it, they will ask what kind of state, where is the Palestinian state? So on ground, the solution which comes from New York has to correspond to the ground realities. If there is a solution which is proposed by President Trump and accepted by Israel and has the endorsement of international community, but on ground also it has to be implemented. At the moment, we are not seeing any indications of whether something is being created, being done on ground for creation of a two-state, for implementation of a two-state solution, or for a Palestinian state which will be able to coexist with the Israeli state in the coming years. It doesn't look likely at the moment. We are seeing highly disturbing pictures from Palestine, and I think any solution which contradicts the rights of Palestinian people, rights of Arab world, it will not be acceptable to the people in that region, but also large sections of the international community, and it will not be considered as a durable solution. So the leaders who are meeting today and who will continue to meet on this issue in the coming days and weeks, they have to be cognizant that the solution has to be in accordance with the principles of international law and has to be in accordance with the aspirations of Palestinian people, aspiration for the right to self-determination of Palestinian people. And then if any unilateral solution is imposed, it has implications. Today this solution is being imposed for Palestine. Tomorrow that solution can be imposed for any other part of the world. We have been supporting Jammu and Kashmiri people's right to self-determination for a long time. So, any precedent which affects this principle of right to self-determination of the people of Palestine should not be acceptable to Pakistan. But I'm sure Pakistani leadership will take into account all these considerations. I think Pakistan, Saudi Arabia strategic defense pact, which has been signed a few days ago, this has been a very significant development. This has been an important development. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have been engaged in defense cooperation for a long time. And this time they have formalized it with important clauses such as that an aggression against one will also be considered as an aggression against the other. But I think it remains a truly bilateral agreement at the moment. And Pakistan, yes, Pakistan's standing has improved in the last several months. Pakistan has performed well in its clashes with India militarily, giving boost to its military capabilities. Pakistan has done well at the diplomatic front, political front also during past several months. So there is a possibility that other Arab countries, important countries in the Middle East, will also look towards Pakistan to have some kind of partnership with them at bilateral level. My view is that these partnerships are at bilateral level. If any joint defense pact has to come or defense arrangement has to come, it has to come through OIC 4, so that when Pakistan becomes part of any such involvements, whether it is for peacekeeping in the Middle East, or whether it is for deploying some troops for some purposes, it has to have an umbrella of OIC or Islamic countries support. Otherwise, if you are going into Pakistan, Saudi agreement or any such bilateral agreements are not, the purpose of these agreements is not for, it is, they are essentially defense agreements, and they are not for the purpose of deploying troops anywhere else. So I think these elements will have to be seen. If there has to be any defense arrangement, United States and NATO, when they evolved these arrangements after the Second World War, they formed NATO. So NATO is a collect organization which ensures collective defense to each member. So similarly, if Muslim countries want this kind of arrangement for them, they have to agree and evolve something under OIC framework. I think otherwise these agreements will remain bilateral. At the moment, I think we are going into some hypothetical discussions that if some kind of force has to be prepared for deployment in Gaza, we are actually missing the point that one of the major parties, which is Israel, is not on the table. Israel is not willing to recognize Palestine, independent Palestinian state. Israel has devastated Gaza. Israeli ground forces are at the moment, bulldozing Gaza. People from Gaza are leaving their homes and migrate, and it is a kind of forced migration which is being imposed on them. So, in such a state, what kind of force will go there and provide, security framework to the Palestinian state or the people of Gaza? So I think first of all, a solution has to be devised. A comprehensive solution has to be devised by important powers, by those countries who are meeting in New York today with President Trump, and then international support of the UN Security Council and unanimous support of the UN Security Council and UN General Assembly should be secured for such a solution. Israel, as a member of the United Nations, should accept that solution, and then these arrangements of what kind of peacekeeping arrangements will be required for that area can make any sense. Otherwise, if we are talking about, in a theoretical manner, sending troops to Gaza and deploying troops to Gaza, but there is no comprehensive solution which has been proposed or which is acceptable to one of the parties, which is Israel, who is not so far showing any signs of acceptance of any such solution. So I think in the absence of this kind of approach, the question of what kind of security forces can be deployed on ground in Gaza will remain irrelevant. And so far, the Arab countries or any other have not been able to give a matching response to Israel. Also, military imbalance is also great. So I think we will have to first of all seek a political solution, and then in support of a political solution, what kind of collective security framework can be evolved, then it can be discussed. At this stage, I am not clear about as to what kind of security framework will be evolved when there is no political consensus.